Okay guys, the coil over is up. It's actually pretty straightforward and not that complicated. In the front, you just need to lose these two bolts and also lose the 3 nut here. You can take the old coil out and make sure you measure them, make sure it's the same lengths. For the preload tension, you can adjust once you put the wheel on and land the wheel on the ground. It will be much easier. So this is the front. It actually took some time to line up here, and you need a rubber hammer to align the bolt hole so you can put in the screw and the bolt screw and nut. I think the torque is 85 to 95 pound per foot. So it took some strength to tie up this nut and bolt. So this is the front. This is the rear. It's roughly the same method. The only difference is you need to lose up this bolt in the back. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah, this one. And you can same adjust the preload, once you land the car on the ground. So what I'm going to do next is actually change the brake line, the rudder. I will keep the OEM caliber. This still works, so can save some money. So what I did is, because I need to change the line, brake line bleed anyway. So what I do, I took off the whole caliber on the passenger front first. So this is what I took off. This is the passenger front caliper. It's on the car, it's like this way, okay, if you look at the passenger side of the vehicle. So what you need to do is take off these 2 nut and bolt. I think is using 19mm socket. Once you take off, you can slide the whole thing, but for sure you need to disconnect the brake line. That's the banjo bolt. I clean up a little bit. And this is a bleed valve. Just keep it closed. Once you take it off, you take the brake pad out. This is the new one I'm going to put in. One tricky thing is because the S13, they don't have the valve you can adjust and push back the brake cylinder, the driver. So what I end up doing, because there was nothing you can clamp on, push the back. So what I end up doing is I using the range extender. So basically I putting the range extender here and using my rubber hammer just pound here and force back the cylinder cup, this thing. So the reason I'm doing that is, once you put in the brake pad, you have enough room in the middle. So once I put on the new rudder, so the rudder can be inserted without interference. So what I'm going to do is put on this brake pad first. Okay, what I did here, I just being lazy because I took the whole caliber off. So it's not like a normal procedure. You change the brake pad, you need to lose these 2 nuts, take the clamp off. So basically it's the clamp with the this is the whole brake caliber assembly. This is the brake line drive. This is the actual the clamp. So what you need to do is you have the new brake pad. You just line them up. Sorry, this is another side. So this is the front of the vehicle side, and this is the front, in the side of the vehicle. This is the clip go here. Okay, so I will assemble the outside one first. So make sure these two metal sheen are in place, it's correct, no interference, and you basically just drop it, make sure it's all lined up. Sorry, because I'm just using one hand, it's not easy. So basically you just push down, make this metal clip or sheen is lock the brake pad in place. So I will put in first. Okay, now one side is in. You can see it's all lined up. You just push in, you know, there's only one way you can push in this brake pad. So what I will do, I will push in this piece towards the inside of the vehicle. Okay, now another piece which is on the cylinder side is also pushed in. You see the pin come with the brake pad. It's serving like a little bit like a locking mechanism. So the reason you want, as I showed before, you need to push back the cylinder cup is make sure you have enough room here. You can insert the rudder. Okay, this is a new rudder, so I will give it a try. You can see if we have enough space. No, obviously not. See, that's the issue. So I didn't push the cylinder back far enough. So what I need to do is take out this part and push down the cylinder cup even furthermore. Okay, now you can see I further hammer down this cylinder cup, which is push the brake pad, you know, upward to clamp it, while the brake pad is weared off a little bit. So this is the hole. You can see actually it's further back. You can see the back of the cylinder. Here's the oil come out of it, splash everywhere. So what I would do is I put on this brake pad again to see if we have enough clearance to insert the rudder. So what you can do is you insert the brake pad, you know, push by the cylinder cup first, because this one got a clamp, got a clip, so you can insert easily, have enough room to maneuver. So this piece is already in, and then I will put in this piece. Okay guys, another thing I forgot to mention is you do need to loosen up the two bolts here, because the brake pad works is the cylinder is the brake fluid cylinder is the cup is pushing this way. These I believe is like almost like a spring-loaded screw, and will also push this way when the brake pad is wear off on this side. So when you lose it, you can put your brake pad in, and basically you can take it out like this. You can see, just take it out like this. Make sure it's lined up, and putting like this one. Now you have enough space to put in the rudder. Let me give it a try. Okay, perfect. It worked. Now we'll put the bolt, the screw back in, hand tight. Because you need a little bit torque. Once you put on torque, it's much easier to put on the torque when the whole assembly is on the car again. Okay, make sure it's hand tight. If you tight too much, it will pull in the brake pad and will you lose the clearance here. So hand tight first, Then I will put this thing back on and put on the new brake line. Okay guys, for the brake line, sorry, the light. Just make sure you unscrew this first and pull this out of the brake line before you pull out of the bracket. Otherwise may bend this, you know, tube and everything will be toasted. So unscrew this, pull the line out of the brake liner, then you get rid of, just pull out the locking pin and you take the brake line out. Okay, so this is the brake line I pulled out. You know, nothing wrong. Here's the banjo bolt, here's the seal, copper crush ring. What I will do, I will save this so I never throw away any old part. Just save it. You never know what will happen in the future. Maybe one day it will save your ass. Okay guys, now we put on the whole caliper assembly. Just to be sure, there are two screws. This one is holding the whole bracket to the chassis. We call the caliper bracket bolt or screw. This one really need to be tight. I think 80 foot-pound, 75 in the front and 80 in the back. And here's another pin which is holding, push the clamp, exercise the tension. This one you don't need to be like 75. I think 20 to 30 pounds per foot will be enough. Just make sure don't over tight these things.